Hey, time to shine today podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Ferguson. I have a 2.0 interview with my really good friend, speaker, author, rock star Laura Templeton. And she just brought out a new book called Stand in Your Brand. And I'm not going to talk too much about it right now because we go really in depth in our conversation. And it's really fun, especially if you have no information or no knowledge on artificial intelligence or AI or chat GPT, it's also known as. You will by the end of this awesome interview with Laura, because we go deep on the fears of AI, the benefits of AI, how we can use AI to implement small businesses, entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, meaning if you're at a job and you really want to work your way up, there's ways that you can really level up your brand within another company and using AI. Again, the name of the book is Stand in Your Brand, Harness the Power of AI for Brand Success, Efficiency, and Client Attraction. And she delivers with that title within the book. I was blessed to get a forwarded copy. I blew through it, and I was also blessed to be able to write a little blurb for her book as well. So without further ado, you're going to want to break out your notebooks on this. And if you like it, please like and subscribe, because my sponsors absolutely love that. So here comes my really good friend, author, coach, speaker, Laura Templeton. Let's level up. Time to shine today, podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I have an awesome sauce 2.0 interview with my really good friend Laura Templeton, someone I immensely respect. With our last podcast interview we did, it was episode 308 about ditching the pitch and really telling people about yourself in a way that gets them interested. And with the 30-second success story, and like we've been kind of really working to get her on here because she just authored a fantastic book, which she allowed me to put a blurb in. So I'm super, super, super honored to be able to do that, Miss Laura. And she is the dynamic force behind 30-second success, boasts 25 years plus years in brand communication and marketing. As a sought-after speaker and author, she champions brand clarity, confidence, and compassion. Her forthcoming book, which is out right now, which will be in the show notes. Don't go there now, but it will be in the show notes. Stand in Your Brand, Harness the Power of AI for Brand Success, Efficiency, and Client Attraction, which promises a fresh perspective on leveraging artificial intelligence or AI for transformative brand experiences. Laura's work inspires innovative thinking, inviting individuals to embrace their uniqueness and conquer the world with compelling brand communication. Laura, thank you so much for coming on for 2.0. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. But first, do you have a secret power or hidden talent that nobody knows about, well, until now?
I don't know if nobody knows about it, but I'm actually pretty good. I'm pretty good at shooting archery. So
Really?
I love archery. Yes.
What?
Target archery. Yep. I've been in the woods a couple of times. I love shooting archery. My kids were young and we learned archery together. So yeah. So thanks for asking about my superpower. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and that's amazing because there's so much that goes into archery. Because my dad's like an expert archer, right? And like he grew up in Alabama killing things, and he moved to Michigan. He'd always take me up, and with that, it would like he's probably one person that I would stand with an apple on my head and let him shoot it. So like it's he was that good and stuff. So that's amazing. Like you and Gina Davis, right? Isn't she expert archer also as well? But no, thank you
Yeah.
so
I
much
think
for
she went to the Olympics
Olympics.
with
Yeah,
archery. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, thank you so much for coming on in all seriousness, Laura, and like what you're doing and getting the information out about AI, because it can get scary with what's going on out there and the false information that can kind of come through. And I noticed you covered a lot of that in your book with getting the facts, and we were talking off mic about emojis and stuff like that and algorithms. But let's get kind of to the roots of you really bringing this book to fruition. Where did it start, the ideas, and to
Yeah.
where it's at now?
And Scott, thank you so much again for having me on. And I love sharing with your audience because I think one of the biggest things is I'm trying to help people get over the fear, right? When AI first came out, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm not that's artificial intelligence. There's so much to be afraid about." And and I will be brutally honest with you. I had to decide whether I was going to run from it or embrace it. Because to be honest with you, there have been times in my life where I've run from something or took the I'm gonna wait and see what happens with this attitude,
Sure.
and it didn't work out well. I was like, I feel like I was left in the dust. So I didn't want to be left in the dust this time.
Hmm.
So I really took some time to dive in, understand what chat was when I started experiencing it, having conversations with the computer. and realizing that I'm a really good prompter.
I love
This is
it.
kind of cool.
Right.
People who are good conversationalists get
Hmm.
a lot out of chat, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and you shared some of your prompts with me, and I'm looking at it, I'm going, he knows what to do when it comes to writing prompts. And
Yeah.
but that's one of the challenges a lot of people have. So I embraced it and I said, I'm really going to embrace it. I'm going to help other people understand how they can use this to benefit themselves in their creation of the communications pieces that they need and the content pieces and even writing courses, right? There's so many different applications you can use it for, even graphics, right?
Yeah.
I've been playing with Dolly and just creating graphics that are amazing, will blow your mind
Right.
when you really know how to communicate with it. And
Sure.
that's the biggest challenge. A lot of people, one of the questions that I get a lot of times is about the ethics around it. So we even covered that. That's covered in the book.
Mhm.
Stand in Your Brand is really about helping people to embrace it.
Yes.
One other benefit that I absolutely love about using it and teaching people is how much of your time you get back. Now,
Yes.
that being said, I'm going to be 60 this year. So if this 60-year-old grandmother can embrace ChatGPT,
Yeah.
anybody can
Oh my.
benefit from using this. I'm telling you, right? It's
Sorry,
amazing.
like you, like I gotta throw it out. I know you probably hear it all the time, but 60, there's no way. Like my Susan will be 60 next month, and it's like neither one of you guys look anywhere near it. I'm like that we're doing something right with our life with that stuff, right? So
Yes.
that
Yes.
that's amazing. And so what's crazy about like AI is like people are so afraid of it because they watch these Terminator movies, right? And they, oh my
Yep.
gosh. But the thing is you and I are not that far apart in age, okay? And
No.
we were probably in a classroom one day, ready to take a math test, and our teachers told us to put what away? Our
Yeah.
calculators,
Just yeah.
which
Put our
calculators are
calculators away.
nothing more than AI. Sorry, it's AI.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
plug it in, it spits out you an answer, right? There's so much AI
Yes.
that's going along. So, what are you doing then outside of what you wrote in your book, but maybe something you can verbalize that really get people past the fears of embracing AI?
So I have a couple workshops that I do, and I love helping people understand. So one that I do for coaches and consultants, where we kind of break it down, understand number one, the biggest piece that people don't even know is available to them is how to write your custom instructions. So you're not constantly having to tell chat who you are, what your voice is, how you like to write, if you want it long, if you want it short, if you want it in the first person, third person, and what are your topics, right? So
Right,
custom instructions is something I love teaching people how to write. But even then, it's putting in the right information. So
right.
helping people understand that. So I have a couple of workshops that I do with coaches and consultants, and I run them periodically. I have a course that's out there as well. And that is called it's Stand in Your Brand. It actually came out at the same time as the book. So that's
Okay,
available as well. And it's so people can go through it independently, really get a good understanding and have access to the course and the content forever. Right.
right.
Once you buy it, it's yours. So, and any updates that I run are in there as well. But that takes you a lot deeper than just what the content kind of goes into the ethical pieces and how to use chat and how to use AI and all the other different AI resources that really can help you expand your mind
Okay,
around how to use this tool. And it truly is a tool. Like when we think about it, it's almost like having a VA in your back pocket, right? Because when you have a good VA and you can communicate well with that VA what you need, and they're able to get you what you need in a timely manner, let's face it, that it makes your life so much easier. Right? So
absolutely. Yeah, and it shortens the learning curve on so many things if how to apply it, which you so generously put out in your book. Well, by the way, which is like, oh, I could if I didn't know AI, okay, one, you start off with, okay, this is what we could fear about it, but this is how we can implement it, and then how to actually do it. That's what I loved about the book is that you're very much a, no pun intended, open book on how to get it done. Now, you did mention the word prompt. Okay, can you explain to the squad out there exactly what a prompt is?
So the prompt is actually the way you communicate with your AI. It's actually going to ask you a question or like it wants you to feed it information. So giving it a very clear, descriptive idea to work from. Right. So think about having a conversation with a person. Now I could just say, stop, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Right. Yeah.
That's like opening up a can of worms, right? But if I said, Scott, tell me about your experience the first time you met Donald Trump,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
That narrows it down.
Right.
So the more concise you get with that prompt, now they call AI understands what prompts are. ChatGPT, I think, refers to them as conversations
Right. Right.
because it wants you to think about having a conversation with a computer.
Right.
Right. So a lot of times some of my clients they get freaked out about talking to a computer. I said, look, it calls it a conversation. Think about give the computer a face, right?
Right.
Think of and then one of my
Yeah.
you mentioned the Terminator. Somebody's like, okay, is it the good Terminator or the bad Terminator?
Right. Yeah, remember the good Terminator was a bad Terminator at one time,
We
right?
turned good. Yeah,
It turned good.
exactly.
I love it. And
So
what the piggyback on what you just said is that you can have conversations with it because I will get mad at chat. Like I'll be like, no, I said it to do it this way. What is your problem? And they'll be like, I'm really sorry. Then they spit out what I want. Like it literally has did that. And I
yes.
actually have a video that I like a screencast-o-matic thing of me doing that and being like, dude, what is your problem? I asked for it this way. Why are you putting spaces in between? Like when like I'll sometimes have it write my not my hashtags, but my tags for YouTube. Find YouTube that's relevant to these show notes. And it'll like put you a space after the comma to put tags into YouTube that there's can be no space. And it's just like, I just be like, dude, what is your problem? Like I can literally say that, right? And it spits out. That's how, like, let me ask you something. Do you think that it is now or it's going to be keep leveling up into like it's a conversation and actually get to know Laura? Do you feel that that's
Oh,
on its way there,
absolutely.
right there? Okay.
I do, because the more I interact with it, the more information I share with it, the more it understands who I am. Now, you also have to understand I use custom instructions very specifically, especially when I'm creating content for myself. I will turn the custom instructions off when I'm working on things for my clients so that like now I've got to feed it, give it a little bit more detail about my client, what we're looking for, how I want it to respond, what's the voice, what's the tone, do I want a long response, do I want a short response, do I want a one sentence, like sometimes you ask it for a post for social media and you get like 2 sentences and I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
can you make that a little bit longer?
Right.
Not quite what I
It's
was looking for, take out all
right.
the little emojis.
Right. Or you said a 30 word or 30 or 300 character post and they put this book. And it's just like, dude,
Yes.
I said it. The more specific you can
Hello.
be, the more accurate it will be, is what you're saying, right? The more
Yes.
specific, the more accurate. I love that. And so when you decided to put this book out, who are the people that you really want to reach with this?
But I think there are a lot of people that will benefit from reading it. So you have a lot of people that are small business owners who really need the assistance, right? To be creative. Creative marketers can benefit from reading it. People even in corporate professionals can utilize it to help them create content that they need in their jobs. So there are a lot of people that will benefit from reading this book.
Oh, absolutely. Anybody really can if they want it. And the thing is, to me, Laura, it's fun. I'm saying we're in our 50s and gonna be 60s, and it's like it's something that I'm like, this is actually fun because it's actually someone I can tell what to do and they do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
When you said virtual assistant, it's true. I mean, like, and I even told my client this, I was coaching, and we were hitting a rough patch in our because I'm a very challenging coach, right? And we were hitting a rough patch, and I put in, listen. Client is crying. Okay. This is the question I asked her. I need 10 questions now to help me to reframe this coaching conversation. Right. And I
Mhm.
did put in information. I was typing really right in front of her. And chat saved the coaching session. It did. It really did. It spit out what I needed. And I told her that this is what she's like, oh my gosh, we flipped this so good. And I'm like, yeah, and because she's a very high, powerful woman on the West Coast that is just like on point. She has 3 commas in her net worth, and she's like, and I flipped it, and I was like, thank the man upstairs for chat right now because I had that deer in the headlights look. I love it. So, what other uses do you see people outside of kind of small business owners, creative marketers, stuff like that. What other uses do you see, not maybe even now, but like foreseeing using AI going forward?
Oh, I think there's so many different benefits, especially in any kind of content creation that you're doing, or from the perspective of evaluation, right? Because I think there's an opportunity for us to really look at it from the perspective of like there are rules around the communities that may want to use ChatGPT from the purposes of the scientific field, right? Because there's the education that has to go with it. So it really needs to evolve before, but I think it's already being used in many of the industries that we're not even aware of, especially in the military industrial complex. One of the things that we just found out, my husband was reading an article and shared with me that ChatGPT actually in their agreement, how you have to like agree to their rules
Yeah,
and everything else, they actually removed that it cannot be used for military purposes. They actually removed that because
they
our government
removed it.
asked to.
Okay.
Yes, it was in there that it could not be used, but there's the whole understanding is that even if you're keeping our military from using it, there are other militaries that are using AI in what they're
Right.
creating. So let's help our military. There's military application. I think there's corporate application. There's application even in education, right? In there are purposes for it to be used in so many different fields
Sure.
that I have my cousin, she's so funny. My cousin is the head of the English department in one of the major universities in New Jersey. And she was sharing with me that when she has to fire somebody and she's really mad at them, she puts it into chat and then chat makes her sound not so mean.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And that's nice that you can say, I need this written in the tone as if my grandmother was soothing me. Right. And it could. Another
Right.
thing that you could say, listen, I'm speaking and I have to speak in a way that Tony Robbins would speak. Just throw that out there.
Right.
And it'll be like, okay, this is the stuff that he would, it's a beautiful thing. But is it still like this more than me? Is it still only updated to 2021?
No, it actually, I think right now, 3.5 is updated to April of 2023.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
for chat 4 actually now has access to the internet.
Oh, wow. Okay. Gotcha.
And then a lot of people ask me, and I know you probably read this in the book, was the difference between 3.5 and 4, right? And it actually is its intelligence level.
Okay.
So when 3.5 was released, it was at about an IQ of a 60, which is your average human.
Okay.
It's really surprised me because that seems really low. But then when 4 was released, it was an IQ of 155, and Einstein was a 160.
Wow.
So
Okay.
they're saying by the time 5 and 6 come out, it's going to have an IQ of like 3,000 because it's constantly learning.
Baldy. Yeah.
It is constantly learning by all the information people like us are putting into it. It's learning from what we're asking it to do.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
when you had asked before about how it will get to know us, right, and how it will think like us, and technically it is when it all comes back down to what information you're feeding to the computer
Right. Yeah. That,
and
that
what you're going
prompt
to
is
get back.
critical.
Right.
Right.
That prompt is critical. And somebody who may not be highly intelligent, they make themselves sound more intelligent by using
Absolutely.
ChatGPT,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
But that's when it comes down to making sure that you are verifying facts. Don't we can't just take
Thank
people at their
you. That
word.
was one of
Sometimes
my
we have to
questions.
do a
Yep.
little bit of background
Yeah.
research, right?
Right.
It's just like we get information. I've proven it because there have been a couple times where I've asked it for stats and I got stats that I knew weren't right.
Right. Right.
Right. It was like they were a little bit off, but they were actually old. It wasn't that they weren't right, it was that they were old.
Right. Yeah.
And so you have to make sure that when you're verifying the information that you're getting, whether it's ChatGPT or any other AI source that you're
Sure.
using.
Love
And
that.
there are multiple ones out there. So Microsoft has Bing and Bard, was it Google has Bard.
Yeah.
So there are other AI platforms out there that we can go to even just check resources. Think
Yeah.
about it this way. For years, we've all been Googling, right? Google is a version of AI.
Right. Absolutely. It is. Sure.
And Google uses AI in its background. Amazon uses AI
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
how did Amazon know when you're looking for something? Oh, if you were interested in this, you might like this too.
Yep.
Here's
Yes.
some other things you might like.
Yeah,
And
retargeting is nothing more than AI.
yes, exactly.
100%. Love that you said that. That's what people need to know is that just because it's at the forefront since November of 22, it's not like old. It's been going on
Yes,
forever. It's just rolling out for us to be able to take advantage of it
yes,
and
yes.
use it. So, where do you stand with college professors, kids writing AI, these not thesis, but like some papers and stuff like? What do you think college professors and stuff like that should be doing when it comes to the AI world?
I think there again is the whole conversation around ethical use,
Okay.
right? If they want the students to create original content, they are still going to have to check it. Because think about it, when you and I were in school, what did we have? We had the library, we had
That's
the
right.
encyclopedia,
Yeah.
and the teachers had to know where you were getting,
Right.
you had to give them what your references were, right? Your
Right.
resources. You had to, so if they are going to allow you to incorporate or even use chat, and there's a way, there is obviously ways for them to verify. They can
Yes.
verify. Who
Absolutely.
was it? The professor at one of the colleges was the dean at the one college was let go because they found that she plagiarized some of her thesis. So there is a way to check it, and AI is going to give them the ability to check it.
Sure.
So think about that. If they don't want students to use AI, but then they're going to use AI to verify that the students
Right.
didn't use AI.
Right.
So it is. But I think the thing is, again, it's the ethical conversation that has to be had.
Thank you.
If you are using Chat GPT, you saw in my book, I give
Mhm.
Chat a lot of credit for helping me write that book,
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that you
right?
did that. You're an open book
Chat
about
even
your
wrote me a
book.
blurb.
Yeah.
Chat even wrote me a blurb about stand in your brand.
What's that? Oh, it wrote you a
Chat even
blurb?
wrote me a blurb.
I love I have a friend that is a professor at Michigan State. I've grown up in Michigan, go Sparties or whatever. But he's like, listen, like like he actually makes it a conversation and he teaches history, right? He made it a conversation from the start and be like, how can we have chat help this out and teach us better? He starts it from the start and the kids absolutely loved it because it really kept them from cheating. He challenged them to say, listen, chat's going to help you, but I want to know what you have to say. But use
Yes.
chat. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But verify, like you
Yes.
said, verify. Like there's some things that
Yes.
spit out for me, and I'm like, I don't, yeah. I go on Google, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's some differences
Something ain't
here.
right here. Yeah.
Right, right,
But you can tell, right? You can kind of, because you are using it in an ethical manner, you're not just taking it for its word. I tell people all the time, remember the 80-20 rule,
right.
right?
Yeah, the Pareto rule,
That's where the
yes.
20% the Pareto rule, you still have to verify. 20% has to be you. 80%
Yes,
could be AI, but
right.
20% has to be you. And you have to make sure that it's all in alignment with who you are.
You know who you are. Exactly. Because okay, you have somebody that someone wrote a testimonial like you did so graciously for me on LinkedIn and stuff like that, but they wrote it and I just looked at them like, all they did is took my media page and wrote me a testimonial. And I wrote back, I'm like, hey, so and so, this is beautiful. Do you mind writing it and just leaving it off a chat? And she was so embarrassed. It was like, but I was like, I was kind of like, man, I'm a good guy and everything, but I'm like, I ain't that good from the chat. So, but yeah, so where do you see us say it's 2026, 2030? Like, where do you see AI going on the trajectory that it's at now? Because I know
I
you
think it'll be
explained
more.
the IQ thing, Laura, and all that stuff, but where do you
Mhm.
see it like really going to?
I think there's going to be a level of people that still are a little bit nervous about the direction that it is
Sure.
going, especially when it is being used in a lot of our universities and in our manufacturing and things like that, and in the military. So I think there are still going to be a lot of concerns around it. But for the most part, I feel like a lot of people are going to be embracing it. I think a lot of people are going to be enjoying what they're learning from using it, right? We
Right.
we can open up our minds and really expand our horizons by being open to what that can help us create. Right? How
Right.
many people do you that may have wanted to create a course for years or wanted to write a book for years and just felt like They just couldn't get the words out.
Right.
And now they have this amazing tool that's going to help them get their brilliance out into the world that much easier.
Oh, I love that you said that, because I mean, even like I'm blessed to coach some real estate agents, right? And they're like, I'm like, you have to set yourself apart. Everybody, you live in Florida, I live in Florida. Part of being a Florida resident is having your real estate license, right? I mean, it's like everybody's a realtor here, right? So I'm like, let's stand out. I do things. That's why I thrived in the business, because I was always finding different things that made me stand out. And so one of my clients said, okay, I'm going to write a book about for sale by owners and like through AI. And he did it. And now he hands them out to the for sale by owners. And it was a heck of a business card. It's not just a business card. This is a book
Right.
that he goes to a drop shipping company and costs him like 75 cents a book after the setup was done. And he's just like, dude, I'm doing an open house on Saturday and they ship him like 10 bucks and he's able to give them out. I mean, like the kid became dominant through it. And I mean, it's my idea, but it was something that you can leverage and put your name on something. All you have to do is in chat is say no plagiarism allowed. You can be super specific, but like write it from this point of view. And I love that it is. So what, like, let me ask something, like, how do you recommend then small business owners utilize AI?
I think the best advantage for small business owners is to use it is, again, thinking about it as your virtual assistant, right? It's really thinking about it as, what content do I need to be creating? What kind of letters do I need to be creating? Have a conversation with it. If you're stuck, right? Ask it for some great ideas. We need something new. We need something fresh. Give me a new idea.
Yeah.
Give me 10 ideas,
Yeah.
right? Or if they're creating content and their content just really isn't connecting with their audience,
Mm-hmm.
rewrite this and give it a snappy title, right?
Thank you.
Sometimes it's
Yeah.
just about the title, the subject line.
Yeah.
They could
Absolutely.
use it for their weekly newsletter. How many small business owners don't even have a newsletter because they don't have time?
Right. It can be written.
ChatGPT can do that it can
Yeah.
write it for you. And then
And
all
then
you got to do is put it in, send it
yeah.
out. Yeah.
You can get a virtual
Yeah.
assistant, which I pay 18,000 PHP a month, which is $400 for 40 hours a week in the Philippines. And that's exactly what I do with my newsletter. Thank you for sharing, Laura. But no, I do. They do, and she just puts it in the format, and it gets sent out. It's like the coaching part's my words, but there's other things I like to add. That's there. That's amazing. And you like another way I'm thinking like small business owners could use it is to hire people. Be like, listen, this is our mission statement. I need to have something written for Indeed.com that's going to stand out above the rest of the small business owners, right? That it'll help you,
Yes.
like you, what do you say, jazz it up or dress it up a lot. I love that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, research is another way you can use it. You can use it's a great tool for researching who your ideal client is, what they need to hear about you,
yeah,
what kind of information they're looking for, how you can connect, where they like to hang out.
sure.
Like, think about so you can research your ideal client, you can research products, you can research what are the hot topics, what's trending,
Yeah,
right? And how can you leverage that to stand out?
right.
So some people do all the research but forget to ask the last piece. So how can I use this?
Yes, how can I use it?
Right.
And how can it make me unique from every other? Say another thing that I found has worked is you can put links from your competitors in there, right?
Mhm.
And say, listen, I need to stand out above these
Yes.
people. And what
Right.
can I do? Give me some ideas, right? And it's like, oh, well, they're not doing this. I can do. But I mean, obviously, I'm sure you can agree. We have to do the work. The prompts work.
Yeah.
Everything's the work,
Yes.
right?
Well,
Okay.
and that's it. You need to know who you are, right? You need to know what your voice is, what you stand for, your vision, your values all matter. Your
Yes.
mission statement, right? If you don't have a well-written mission statement, but what your vision and values are, that can help you write a mission statement. But
Boom.
it needs to know your vision and values
Yes.
first,
Yes.
because it's
Thank
not
you.
going to figure it out for you.
Right. Right. That's true. It's not going to take that part of the humanity out of it. And then that's where a lot of people are afraid of a lot of technology, but humans are still needed across the
Yes.
board, which I'm
Yes.
seeing. So which platform of art AI do you like to use the most?
I use ChatGPT hands
Okay.
down. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I actually have the paid version, the Chat GPT
Me
4.
too. Yeah.
Because and it's interesting because sometimes Chat GPT 4 is almost sometimes being acting too smart for me. I'll go back to 3.5.
Yeah. 3.5. Right. Okay.
I go bounce between the two.
Right.
Because I want to see what's the subtle. There are subtle differences between engaging with one or the other.
Yeah. It's like, for lack
So,
of a
and I
better
like,
term,
yeah,
dumb it down for you,
yeah,
because like you said,
yeah.
4 is like super like Einstein-y. And then if you go to 3.5, it's kind of like me talking to you, but full of knowledge, right? So that
Thanks, Scott.
works. So where can we find the book, love?
Oh, you can actually get it on my website at 30secondsuccess.com/books or any of the major book retailers that out there. It is available through Amazon, Kindle, and paperback.
I love it. And like, if you haven't read also 30 Second Success, was a lot. It's a lot of fun to read that one as well.
Yeah.
But I am going to do a 2-book giveaway. That first person that says LT Rocks, ROCKS, LT Rocks, put it in any of our social, whether it's Pinterest, I don't care. If it's Instagram, if you text it to 561-440-3830, we'll send you out a book on Time to Shine Today's Dime, and we'll get your information for the mailing. We're going to send that out for you. And Laura, what else you got going on, my friend?
Oh my goodness. Like I said, we're just excited about getting Stand in Your Brand out there. I
Hmm?
love that from the business perspective, but from a grandmom's perspective, we got a new baby I got to go meet. So I'm
That
excited
is
about that.
amazing.
Yeah. I kind of dialed back some of my speaking recently. My husband and I were both sick, so I'm diving into getting more virtual gigs. I
Okay.
think I'm really loving being in the grandmom zone, and
First,
virtual
Laura?
speaking has been great. No, this is my third, but
That's what
this
I
is,
thought.
yeah. This is my third. The other two are 6 and 7,
Okay.
and they're loving their new baby sister.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Are they
But
boys or
they're
girls, the
I have a boy
older?
and a girl. Yeah.
Okay. All
My
right.
granddaughter is 7 and my grandson is 6.
And
So,
then the
and
baby.
they
Okay.
they just absolutely love. Well, my grandson, technically, my daughter said he's like, yeah, not impressed. And my granddaughter loves her baby sister, so she's
She'll
just
love it until
really,
she has to babysit every Friday night when she's 17.
yeah, right.
That was me. My little brother,
Uh,
one of them's 8 years and one of them's 10 years younger. And it's like, oh man, these little things are cool. Then my dad would be like, hey, me and mom are going out on Friday. I'm like, dude, I have a football game to go to. Well, you're
it's all
built-in
right.
babysitter. I
You're the
love it.
built-in babysitter, or guess what? You don't eat next week now.
I absolutely love this. I love it. And
So
Squat,
yes.
I had just another super fun conversation with my good friend Laura Templeton here, who she wasn't sure about the AI phenomenon, if she was going to really dive in or run. And thank you, Laura, for actually diving in and writing the book Stand Your Brand, because what you did is you embraced the benefits and now you're passing it on to us. And it's like, again, a lack of a better term, she dumbs it down where people like me can read it. And if I didn't know anything about AI, I'd be able to implement it. So thank you so much. And if you think you're too old, this beautiful lady that I'm talking to right now, she's going to be 60. I'm 52, and we both embraced it in our time of our life. It's AI reminds us that, or Laura reminded us that AI it's really like having a virtual assistant in your pocket, and that you can communicate with you anytime you want. If you're worried about cost, it's really not that much for the value you get. I believe I paid $19.99 a month for unlimited use to my AI. And that when you pick up Laura's book, that you're going to have she's going to show you, she spoke about custom instructions, which are prompts, and she tells you how to write them, how to start that conversation with chat or AI or whichever that you use for the artificial intelligence. She gets very, very in depth with that. It's great for you small business owners, your entrepreneurs, even if you're an entrepreneur at a business and you want to really stand out as an entrepreneur, which is the new thing that's going on. I love coaching you entrepreneurs out there to really help you climb that ladder. AI will really help you. But also, whether you're a business or not, if you're looking to grow using AI, know your values, know your core values, know what mission you're working towards, because AI is going to evolve, as Laura said, and it's going to get to know you. So if you start having core values that are not that good, AI might go roll that way with you. So let's keep the core values, keep it strong, keep it clean, keep it going. And that's what my good friend Laura does. She continues to level up her health. She continues to level up her wealth. She's stunning. She's just absolutely so fun to talk to. And she just earned her second varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. So thank you so much for coming on, Lauren. I cannot wait to rock the stage with you soon.
Thank you so much for inviting me on to Time to Shine today, Scott. It's been amazing to hang out with you. I love your team. They've been so supportive. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Talk soon.